Meanwhile, Harris is harnessing the momentum of her campaign launch with an ad of her own, with a little bit of help from one of the biggest names in entertainment, Beyonce.
In this election, we each face a question. What kind of country do we want to live in? There are some people who think we should be a country of chaos, of fear, of hate. But us, we choose something different. We choose freedom.
Back with us tonight, Democratic strategist and consultant Simon Rosenberg and MSNBC senior political analyst Matthew Dowd. He is also a former George W. Bush strategist and founder of Country Over Party. Simon, we have not seen you in quite some time, so let's start with the state of the race and where you think things stand.
Listen, we've had a remarkable week. This has been a remarkable week for American politics, and I think Democrats feel great about what's happened. I mean, we honor the sacrifice that Joe Biden has made, this historic act of passing the torch as he's done, a powerful reminder of how democracies are supposed to work, right? That it's not an indispensable man who's in charge. It's just a regular citizen, and his time has come, and now the new kids are coming. And, you know, Kamala Harris has had a remarkable first week. Party unified around her. Her new ad, I think, is very strong and powerful. She's raising incredible amounts of money. The volunteers that are signing up for the campaign, we've never seen anything like this, the kind of outpouring of support we've seen. I've talked to candidates and people on the ground in the battleground states over the last couple of days, and they say almost every single person who I talk to says this feels a lot like 2008, right, in the first Obama campaign. So it's been a remarkable week. We feel good, and the polls got a lot better for us this week. But it's going to be a competitive election, and we've got a lot of work to do. But I think, you know, I'd much rather be us than them tonight.
I'm going to ask an unpopular question then, Simon. She had such an unbelievable week, and she's energized the country. It's like she was the ace in the hole all along. Yeah. And why did it take this long? Why wasn't she the candidate 10 months ago?
Well, I think we are where we are now, and where we are is a good place. I mean, I think, remember, if things are even today in polling, we still have some big events to come in the coming weeks, right? We've got the continued rallying around the vice president. We're going to have the VP pick. We're going to have our convention. I mean, the likely scenario here is that within a few weeks, we're going to be up a few points. And I think people feel good. I mean, what I've heard people say is they have hope again for the country. There's a sense of optimism about the future, and that they're having joy and feeling good again after years of just rancor and debate in this country. And I think it's okay to feel good here and now. And, you know, let America laugh again, right? The line from the Lincoln Project. I think that this has been a really positive week for us as Democrats, but also for the country. And I look forward to the general election.
Matthew, since the debate, you were calling for this to happen, and you took a lot of heat from a lot of people. What are you thinking now?
What am I thinking now? I give a lot of praise to President Biden in this. I mean, it took an unbelievable amount of courage and a selfless act to do what he did in the course of this, and take a look at himself and a look at his campaign. I mean, I had said, and I think you and I might have talked about this, that I had thought what is happening would happen. Back when I said this 10 days ago, I said that the party would coalesce quickly around Kamala. They have. I said that enthusiasm would quickly coalesce and build. It has. And I said at some point soon, she would take the lead in the polls. And that is, and I agree with Simon, that is about to happen. And I actually think it's already happened. We just haven't picked it up yet. I think we're about to pick up what's happened in the course of this. So, and in your previous question, going to this, combine them together, I actually think that for all of the accidental nature of this and how it worked out over the last week, that she is actually better off having entered this phase only 105 days from Election Day, as opposed to 10 months from Election Day. In this environment, with Donald Trump and the Republicans and how they behave and how they act and how they conduct themselves in a campaign, the shorter term of a campaign, I think, is to her betterment.
That is fascinating. Simon, there's more and more Republicans that seem to be expressing buyer's remorse over Vance, with one telling Axios, quote, he was the only pick that wasn't the safe pick. When we look at this, it seems like the only two people that were pushing hard for J.D. Vance were Don Jr. and Peter Thiel, both who have a lot of influence over Trump, but are wildly unpopular.
Yeah, this was a catastrophic mistake by the Trump campaign. I mean, what was amazing was that the next morning there was an NBC News report on the website with the campaign dishing that it was Dom Jr. who did it, and they were kind of distancing themselves from the pick already, right? And it's pretty clear based on what we've seen with the videos that have come out, the audio that's come out, the quotes that have come out, that they vetted him and they told the president that this guy was a big mess and going to be a big problem for them. But Trump did what Trump does, right? He just did his own thing. He didn't listen to his advisors, and it's creating a crisis in the campaign. I mean, he's the most unpopular VP pick in modern American history. He solidified Donald Trump and his ticket as abortion extremists and has, radicalized women across the country. And his quotes, the things that he said, I mean, he's a disgusting pig, J.D. Vance. I mean, I'm honestly shocked at what the things are that are coming out literally by the hour. And of all the things that I just sort of have, sort of settled on about him, is this idea that he wants to get rid of no fault divorce. That of all the cockamamie, crazy ideas that the right has come up with, the idea that he's on video saying that he thinks women who are getting beaten by their husbands and put into, to the hospital need to stay in those marriages and have no choice other than to stay for the good of the children. I mean, what world are we living in here? I mean, this is crazy stuff. I call him Commander Vance out of like the Handmaid's Tale wing of the Republican Party. And I think it's really a problem for Donald Trump. This was a huge error. And I think rather than him having a good week at the convention, they had a bad week. And it's one of the reasons I think we've got a lot of momentum right now, which is that it solidified, it reminded everybody why it is that they can't elect MAGA in this election, as they haven't been in previous elections in recent years.
If it was Commander Vance, I think that would be his fourth official name change. What's your take, Matthew?
Yeah, and I actually think it was born of total arrogance. I mean, this pick was born of arrogance. And I think if their convention was next week, J.D. Vance would not have been the pick. He would have picked, with what's going on right now, he would have picked Nikki Haley or Elise Stefanik or somebody. But this is what they did. And as I say, born of complete arrogance.
You get what you get, and you don't get upset. Simon Rosenberg, great to have you back. Matthew, always great to see you.
Good to see
When we
you,
return,
you too.